AGNERDS on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by the AgriData Solution, the industry's most powerful farming software. Go to the URL below and start your free trial of the AgriData Solution today. Shaun Haney here with RealAgriculture.com for another edition of AGNERDS, and it's glad to have back an old familiar face, kind of the new old face.
Blast from the past.
Exactly. I finally rounded up Peter Gredig to do another edition of the AGNERDS because we happen to be in the same city.
Had to come all the way to Manitoba.
Yeah, so we're in Winnipeg for Crop Connect. And Pete, what are we going to talk about this week?
The cloud.
The cloud.
Right, so I've been going across Canada doing mobile technology seminars. And when the topic of the cloud comes up, people are afraid of it. They're not sure, should they have their data on the cloud? What is the cloud?
Clouds are so fluffy. Why would you need...
You would think it's not a fearful topic, but what's your impression of it?
Well, obviously we're talking about data clouds, and my impression is that... sorry. My impression is that, well, one, more secure, but I think a lot of people leap to it's not secure because I don't know where the data is.
Right.
It's not sitting in a box on my desk as a pile of newspapers on it.
Right.
It's somewhere up in Hitherland, and I'm not quite sure where my data is, and I'm worried about that.
Well, I'll be honest with you. For me, I am happy to store my data on the cloud because I don't have to worry about backup, and I should be better at it. I'm not good at it. I don't back stuff up. I don't have to worry about the hard drive crashing, right? I don't have to worry about flood, theft, fire, all that stuff. So for me, and you got me on to Evernote, right? Evernote is a good example of a generic software that you can use from mobile device, you can use from desktop, anything, and it's stored on the cloud. Right? So you access the software from the cloud, you store your files that you create with Evernote, which is basically a virtual notebook, right? Mm-hmm. And once I got onto that, liberating. Dropbox, right? Other things that you've encouraged me to use. And once you get onto this idea that it's a little bit like banking.
Right.
So, and I wrote an article for RealAgriculture.com. It's a little bit like the old thing where you could stuff your money in a mattress. I always know where it is. I can get my hands on it. I'm responsible.
Right.
We don't do that. And I think data is becoming sort of like currency in that let's let professionals store it. So,
okay, well hold on here, because at first I think another concern is not only do I not know where the data is it secure?
right.
I get that question a lot in different presentations. Is do I need to be worried that my data could just be gone?
Yeah, and I guess the horse is out of the barn. I mean, if you file your taxes electronically, right? Almost all credit card information is electronic. Everything's electronic. So really, it comes down to you have to do your due diligence and say, okay, what cloud service am I going to use? What password protect system am I going to use? Do I have a password manager? Do you have a password manager?
No, and I've been really I have somebody in my life that's really bugging me about that.
Yeah, I think people are worried about cloud security. Primarily, step one, password manager.
So what's a password manager?
Password manager just means that every time you sign up for any, you go online, you sign up for an email or whatever, use that password, Netflix, whatever. If you have a password manager, it generates the password.
So I shouldn't use my birth date?
You shouldn't use your first dog's name, you shouldn't use your birthday, you shouldn't use, and I'm guilty of this too, and I've learned this from people that attend the seminars I do. They're easy to use, and all of a sudden you don't have this, if you're 10-year-old
How do I remember this? So it's gonna give me a list of 15 characters, alphanumeric.
But
How do I remember that?
You only need to remember one, and then it will generate a different, very complex, unbreakable or secure password for all those other.
I had read a stat somewhere in a Globe Mail article where it talked about 80% of the debit cards have a PIN that is either 0000, 4 zeros, or 1234.
Right.
So you're likely, if you were to have your, that's shocking to me. That's really mailing it in terms of passwords.
Well, I mean, people are worried about somebody hacking their personal or production or financial data from the cloud. I mean, step one is how you manage your passwords, right? So if I have a password for Evernote or for Dropbox, I guess the first step is how good is my password and how well am I managing my password.
So the most common cloud storage for documents and pictures are Dropbox, we have things like Evernote,
Right.
we have Google Drive, we have Microsoft SkyDrive,
iCloud.
Those are the most common ones. But this also applies to farm data,
Right.
right? People are looking for solutions to back up their farm data.
Right. You can access stuff you have on the cloud from any device, anywhere in the world, anytime, as long as you're connected and you have your password. So I worry less about people hacking into my corn yield data. I think the bigger issue is that we all need to kind of understand this market for agricultural data, production.
So some people are going to say, though, data costs, right? So if I'm transferring data constantly back between my phone and my laptop and my desktop into the cloud, data's going all over the place,
Right.
I'm going to incur all these data charges.
Right. Happy to pay it. I know it's, I can't tell you whether it's expensive or not expensive. It doesn't seem to be a big issue. But think about the cost of a flamed out hard drive, or the cost of losing data because your home computer gets wet in a flood or whatever. I mean, there's hardware costs and then there's storage costs. I prefer to pay the storage costs.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't realize that it's not just backing up in the cloud to one server, one hard drive. It's replicating and backing. There's pieces and different splits.
Right.
And you're connecting to the data source that is the closest and the most convenient to where you are located at that current time.
Right, and I try and describe to people, they want to envision the cloud. It's hundreds of file cabinets in the sky or on the internet, and you have a file folder in each of them that's replicated. 1 or 10 of them may go down. Chances of all of them going down, slim.
Right. Well, I know with some hard drive backup services that go back to the cloud, what they do is, the first time you back it up, of course, it could take weeks. Right. But after that, it basically looks for updates.
Right.
And so, you can set it to update at night when you're sleeping, so you don't take away some of your bandwidth at home.
Right.
It's really a great way to make sure that you don't lose anything.
Well, it depends. I mean, you're backing up larger files, video files, etc. For the average farmer backing up, it's fairly straightforward data. It's easy, and I would just tell people not to be afraid of it. But it's like that money in the mattress. You're going to take it to a reputable, credible bank, right, and investigate, what happens if the bank is robbed or whatever, right? It's the same thing with your data. It's valuable, and where you put it on the cloud, that's the new job. Rather than backing stuff up in memory sticks and external hard drives and all that, the new job is you don't have to worry about that. It's up to you to decide where you store it and how that data is being protected, etc.
Well, it's been another episode of AGNERDS. Boy, it's great to have Pete back. Maybe we'll wrangle him for another one while we're sitting around. Thanks a lot, Pete.
Good, see you.